main stage to address to ask questions. You can also ask questions during the coaches team breakout period later in the afternoon. Also, as a reminder, be sure to stop by ESPN's Pop In for popcorn with ESPN Direct to Consumer. It's over by the midfield tunnel entrance. Take a quick snack break, grab some popcorn, and get the inside scoop on ESPN's brand new direct to consumer service and enhanced app, which will be launching this fall. Again, if you have media questions today, we'll ask that you please raise your hand and our microphone holders will come to you. Keep your hand raised until there is a microphone holder next to you. We'll start here in just a few minutes. Thank you. Good morning. We began the day two session of the 2025 Big 12 Football Media Days powered by Microsoft Copilot. As a reminder, members of the media wishing to ask a question should raise their hand and a microphone holder will come to you. Representing Houston, please welcome head coach Willie Fritz. Coach, will begin with your opening statement, followed by questions from the media.
Well, I think, like everybody, our thoughts and prayers go out to all the people in Central Texas, and we're trying to find ways that we can help at the University of Houston, but certainly our thoughts and prayers go out to them. But I'll go ahead and start with questions.
All right, again, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll have a microphone holder come to you. Go center right, forefront.
Kenneth Bowman, Coop TV. Coach, last year you said your program in the conference is a sleeping giant. I just wanted to get your thoughts on the moves that you've been made and the conference has made to sort of wake up that giant.
Well, when we were talking about that last year, we've got, I think, the greatest location for football in the world, Houston, Texas. Got a great university. We're getting ready to move into a brand new $160 million, 160,000 square foot football operations center here in a week and a half, so we'll have as good a facility as anybody in the country. So you got to have those things first and foremost. But I also think we've done an excellent job recruiting. You know, both high school guys. We've sometimes that's taken a back seat here recently, but we've done a super job with our high school class last year. We're going to do a great job with the upcoming class for 2026. And then I think we've also done an excellent job with the portal, you know, signing guys that fit our profile. We had a little bit more time this year with being able to vet guys and gather information and getting the right guys that fit our culture. So, yeah, we want to, you know, take a big step forward in year 2.
Or go to front row.
Hey, Coach. Nick Hamilton, Nightcast Media. Wanted to ask you specifically, what are some of the changes that you've seen in your team from last season, obviously going into this offseason, as you guys continue to elevate the program going into the 2025 season?
Yeah, we've got a lot of legitimate competition, you know, positionally. You know, last year we didn't have a lot of depth. We didn't have a whole lot of competition. You know, one guy was kind of going to start for us no matter what. Now it's, you know, we're going to have to use our first 2 or 3 games to figure out exactly who's going to be playing and how much they're going to be playing. So I'm very, very excited about the depth that we have. We've, you know, the guys that return and then also the guys that we added high school wise and also in the portal have given us that depth.
Or we'll go to center right here.
Good morning, Coach Fritz.
Good morning.
You're reunited with Slade Nagel, and we saw some of those offenses at Tulane look pretty good, especially against Houston. How much of that Tulane offense is going to come over to Houston? How similar are those going to look?
There's going to be a lot of similarities. Obviously, when you hire someone, you want them to have the same philosophy as what you have. And I know Slade very, very well. Does an excellent job of coaching the entire offense. Sometimes offensive coordinators, you know, they're a quarterback coach. They just really work with the quarterback, tight ends, offensive line, whatever it might be. He really does an excellent job of meeting and coaching all the positions, which I think is unique. And then I also think his experience at LSU is going to help us. You know, they're one of the leading passing teams in the nation. And, you know, I see some concepts that he's using from spring ball that are a little bit different that we hadn't done at Tulane. But he also understands the importance of being balanced and running the football and passing the football. We'd like to be a 50-50 team. I think if you want to win championships, you got to be able to run the football effectively, and Slade certainly understands that. But I'm pumped about having him back.
Again, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll go to center left front row.
Chris Baldwin from Paper City, Houston. Hey, Willie.
Hey, Chris.
Has Connor Wegman been what you expected, and how has his leadership shown itself?
He's been outstanding. Connor, you know, is from Houston, 5-star, played high school ball there. You know, had a little bit of an up and down career at Texas A&M. Some of that is changing what they were doing with coaches and those kind of different things. He also got hurt. You know, he probably wasn't full speed until maybe February after he got to our place in January. But he's been everything that I hoped he'd be. He's a great young man, great leadership abilities. You know, it's really hard to coach a football team when you got your quarterback's a prima donna. It happened to me one year, many years ago. I made a decision that would never happen to me again, and he's just been aces. We're just very, very fortunate to have him in our football program, interacts with everybody, just a real old-fashioned type of quarterback.
We'll go to center left.
Hey, Coach. Parker Ainsworth, Locked On Cougs.
Yeah.
Year ago, you were coming off a 4-8, year 2 in the Big 12, and it was exciting because things were new. This year, coming off a 4-8, your second year, it does feel exciting and new, but what is it about it for you that is exciting? I mean, what's different for you in July 25 than 24?
You know, familiarity, you know, with the university. You know, I've got a lot of experience in the city of Houston. The high school coaches, reestablishing relationships with those guys. But, but having a full year of getting your guys in your program, to be a great recruiter, you got to be a talent evaluator and you got to be an information gatherer. And we didn't really have time to do that my first year when I took the job. We did a great job making sure these guys fit with our culture. The majority of the guys that I have coaching for me or working in the building with me either played for me at another spot, coach for me at another spot, or both. So they understand what I'm looking for, and and I think that's what's going to allow us to have some competition at position. We got some depth this year, and that wasn't the case last season.
We'll go center left, third row.
Willie, in this new era of college football with the monies involved, players coming and going, what do you do as a coach to build team chemistry? What do you have to do differently these days?
Our slogan this year is Houston. And when we say Houston, when we break, it's 2025 Houston, not 2026, 2027. I think every team now is going to be its own team, which it was in the past, but it was different. You count on a guy, you'd have him for 4 or possibly 5 years to develop them. So we just want our guys to establish, we've talked about it's more like a microwave than an oven. We got to establish these relationships quickly. And that's one of the things as a head coach that I try to promote within our program is getting our coaches, not just to know your position group, but all the guys on the football team, just like the head coach does. We talked about Connor a moment ago. Connor knows all our defensive players very well. We've made sure that occurred. So I think that's something that's different in this day and age of college football. But we're just really concerned about the 2025 Houston Cougars.
Again, if you have a question for Coach, please raise your hand. Also, please state your name and media affiliation when you are asking your question. We'll go to second row.
Good morning, Coach Fritz. Candace Lamb, D210 Sports. I was at Sam Houston when you made a great reign there as head coach, so I know this can be done.
Are you a Bearcat graduate?
I'm a Bearcat.
All right.
Bearcats. Eat 'em up, cats.
There you go. Two of my kids I'm a graduate there also. I got my master's there.
I know.
Well. Great school.
I know. If you guys don't know, we had amazing seasons with Coach Fritz there. With that being said, coming off a tough season last season, what improvements are you looking to make in the off season? What improvements have you made in the off season going into this upcoming season?
Well, I think it's additions to our program, finding out the guys that were within our program, what they do well, what maybe they don't do as well. The portal works both ways too. And we wanted to make sure that the guys we had there were guys that we wanted to have in the program as well. So I just like the depth that we've established. The guys we've picked up high school wise. We want to be a high school program. I know that's tougher in this day and age, but that's what we want to. That's what we want to be our bread and butter to be is high school students and develop them. We talk about recruit bona fide Division I student athletes with character, retaining them by providing a culture where they can thrive and grow on the field, off the field, in the classroom, and then develop them. We can't develop them if you don't retain them. So that's something that we want to do year after year so our guys continue to get better, as a person, as a student, but certainly as a player. So that's the big difference, in my opinion, year 1 to year 2 is the familiarity with the University of Houston, our program, the guys we have here, how to approach it, how to attack it.
All right, we'll go center right, middle.
Hey, Coach. Robert Aronoff, Latavius Murray's Knights 24/7. I want to know what the biggest takeaway from you from last year is and what that does to affect what you do moving forward.
Big 12's a fantastic conference, and everybody's pretty good. You got to. I've been in some leagues. This is my 6th different league as a head coach, and there were some games where maybe you brought your C game and you still were able to win. That's not the case in our league. Everybody's good, top to bottom. It's just the fan bases are extremely excited about their team. I really enjoyed it. I went to a few stadiums I'd never been at before, and I enjoy going to different places. And seeing how they do things at different places. But I just think from top to bottom, how competitive the league is, and that probably is what makes it different than a lot of other Power Four conferences.
Time for a couple more questions. We'll go center right, forefront.
Bobby Malvez, Scott and Holman podcast. You talked earlier, a few minutes ago about the new operations building. How has that helped with recruiting and fundraising in that sense?
Big time. It's 160,000 square feet is a full football field and a half. I mean, it is really big. We're going to have a 26,000 square foot weight room. And it's just going to, right now we're sharing a weight room with all the sports except the basketballs. So and it's going to be it's going to be right next door to our indoor. We've got an unbelievable indoor facility. We've really got an indoor and a half area. And then we've got great outdoor practice fields, stadiums outstanding. And then where the guys are going to live is less than, 500 yards away. And also where they're going to park. So everything's very compact and close, which is tough at a big university like the University of Houston, a big city like Houston. And the kids spend so much time up there. They're going to eat up there. They're going to get treatment up there. They're going to lift up there. They're going to have their meetings up there. Obviously, they're going to practice up there. So I think it's only going to help develop our culture.
All right, we'll go to final question, center right, mid back.
Hey, Coach. Conrad Barr, KMU FM, Mineola, Texas. Had a question. You were just talking about the big city of Houston. Talk about recruiting in that area and trying to keep kids home, obviously, because there's so much Texas high school football talent in the Houston metropolitan area.
I've coached a lot of different places. When I was a head coach at Bland back in 1993 through 96, all my kids were from the state of Texas. Right, it'd be foolish to have them come from someplace else. I went up to the University of Central Missouri. The first year I tried to get some Texas kids, and I found out it was hard for me to get them. And number two, sometimes it was difficult for them to stay the whole time. So I started recruiting in that area. I came back to Sam Houston. Probably 99% of my kids were from the state of Texas. So, make a long story short, there's a few other places I've been at. I've always recruited locally. That's one big secret to our success at Tulane. We had a lot of New Orleans kids who thought the grass was greener someplace else, and they found out it was only green. And they wanted to come back home to mama, and where they were familiar, where their culture was at. So, there's probably going to be some kids that might go other places that we might get on the rebound. The portal will be good for us in that regard. But I just have learned, being the head coach of 6 different places and I guess 3 different states, 4 different states, I guess. You better recruit local because the kids seem to be a heck of a lot happier when they're close to home.
Thank you for your time today, Coach, and good luck this season.
You betcha. Go Cougs.
Oklahoma State coach Mike Gundy will join us at 11:20.
Sometimes it be like that. Sometimes when you thought you found the love of your life, now you're thinking I'm just one of those guys leading on. I can't help when you read it wrong. No, why I trip on us? You put me down.
back to Big 12 Football Media Days, powered by Microsoft Copilot. Now joining us is Oklahoma State head coach Mike Gundy. Coach, you'll start off with questions, so if you have a question, please raise your hand, and we'll get a microphone holder to you. All right, we'll go here, center left.
Hey, Mike, Eugene Rapay from the Des Moines Register. As a coach that's been around the block in the Big 12, what do you have to say about the way that Matt Campbell has built up Iowa State since taking over 10 years ago?
Well, Matt's been very successful for quite a while. I was thinking about that the other day. I don't know how many years he's been there, but he's been very successful and done a good job. Not a place that's it's a really easy build, but built it up really well. They ought to take good care of him, try to keep him there as long as possible. He's been very good for our conference.
Okay, we'll go center left.
Mike, Eric Bailey with the Tulsa World. I wanted to ask you about the quarterback room. It looks a lot different than it did at the end of the spring. Can you talk about your message to the remaining quarterbacks and how their summer went?
Well, obviously it's different. We don't have a quarterback that's ever played a snap for us at Oklahoma State. We've got a little bit of familiarity with a couple guys coming through spring, but it's one of the things in the future of college football that's a little bit scary is you don't have as many guys in that room as you'd want to, but I think that Coach Meacham and our staff understand the importance in finding out who gives us the best chance to win and building our offense around that system.
Again, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll go to front row, center right.
Hey, Coach Gundy, Nick Hamilton, Nightcast Media. Just wanted to ask you, going from being a former player to being a current head coach, how surreal is it for you to see yourself in the new college football game? And how much fun have you got a chance to even play it?
I have not played the game, but I think it's pretty cool that somebody put me in a video game. I don't know if somebody showed me the picture just recently of it, and they gave me a great hairdo. Like, I have really good hair, but I mean, that's like permanent hair for like forever. But I'm good with it. I wish my royalties off it were as much as the players, but it should be fun.
We'll go center left, third row.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. Mike, how did the results of a year ago sort of shape your off-season assessment of where your program is?
So the off-season for us has been crazy. Obviously, we know about all the changes in college football, and for the most part, we all live day to day. Players coming in, players going out, recruiting. For me, it was extremely busy. New staff, new coordinators. Those guys bring in their own staff. We have 65 new players. 35 of them we've never seen practice before. And they just showed up in June. 18 of those-ish are transfers and the other are high school players. So it's a very unusual experience. They've done really well over the last 4 or 5 weeks in off-season. But August practice will be more important now than it ever has been based on the new faces.
We'll go center right, fourth row.
Coach Leo Rivera with Scope Up Sports. Having all these new players in, what is it like trying to build a scheme around so many new guys as compared to what you used to do 20 years ago, having, faces you were familiar with already?
So whenever I used to go on vacation in July, I had a really good idea of who our two deep was going to be. In most cases, who the quarterback was going to be. I'm going to try to go on vacation in a week or so, and I'm not sure that I know who will be the starters in 8 of the 22 spots. That's not counting special teams. So it's very unusual. And coaches understand that it's going to happen faster in August this year than it ever has before, so we can get established, so we can create some identity, hopefully develop some team chemistry, and get ready to play in the first game.
We'll go front row, center right.
Coach Lane Harrington, State Line Power 5. How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
All right. So following a disappointing season last year where you went winless in conference play, your contract was restructured. And I don't ever like to get into, money or anything, but it involved like you being really involved in a successor whenever you decide to retire. So where do you see like the program at in the near future, probably in the next 3 years?
So did you ask me where I see the program at the next few years? Is that what you asked me? So one thing that I think is important to remember is that I've been fortunate enough to be the head coach for now going on 21 years. And we've had 19 winning seasons in a row and played a really high level of college football. And for the majority of those years, we could have beaten any team in the country on any given day at any time. So we have to go through a little bit of a rebuilding phase this year. One, because we needed to upgrade in certain areas, but the other because we lost a large number of veteran players last year. We were going to have to so-called rebuild anyway. We were prepared for that, but I will say that the changes with the way we go about rebuilding, whether it's financially or roster management, have been challenging, but also intriguing because it's something new. It's different than it's ever been before in my 21 years as a head coach.
We'll go center left, sixth row.
Drake Toll, Locked On Big 12. Coach, in the NIL era, how do you combat player entitlement?
That's a great question from a young person. Boy, I'm trying to figure out how to combat entitlement in the world in general, much less college athletes. That's a real challenge. We talked about it. I shared earlier with a group one thing that I've said to the team twice this summer and to the coaches, that when we start on July 27th, two things have to go out the window. One, thinking of transferring or taking other jobs as a coach or a player. Two, the money aspect has to go to the side. Because for the most part, the coaches and the players, all of us, including me, are going to be at this location until at least December. The teams that can put that to the side and the coaches that can put that to the side, concentrate on coaching and playing football and find a way to come together, in my opinion, get the best chance to win. That's the only way that I think that we can handle the monetary side of college football at this time.
We'll go to center right, sixth row.
Hey, Mike. James Wicks from KSWO. Last year, you guys had a lot of returning players and hype, and this year it's maybe not as much. Do you use that as fuel of how you guys finished last year going into this year?
I got asked that earlier, but so roster management now is 105, and then you get an additional players. I don't know what that title they're calling them, but basically walk-ons. So we should be at around 115, and I'm going to guess that 60% of those players weren't here last year. So if I was to try to use that, they would be scratching their head and really wondering what I was talking about. So I think it's important that each individual player has to find a way to motivate themselves in order to benefit our team. Now, we could have players that were on our team last year that are motivated by that, and that's okay. We're all different. Things that motivate me, the new trend, trying to stay on the cutting edge of the future of college football, learning more about the business side of college football. So that would be an example of what would motivate me to continue for our team to play well and win football games.
Front row, center left.
Mitch Harper, KSL Sports. Mike, I'm curious, Commissioner Yormark has doubled down on the 5+11 model in the college football playoff. Why does that model benefit the Big 12 long term?
So I read most of the commissioner's remarks from yesterday, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. The Big 12 has the best commissioner in all sports, in my opinion. He's energetic. He thinks out of the box. He's motivated. But as I spend time with him, what I learned maybe more than anything about him is he has a way of getting a group together, having a discussion, and then coming up with a plan. And having a plan gives us the best chance. And so when you talk about the 5-11, is that what you're referring to? I listened to it, read about it. When the discussions first started in Orlando a few weeks ago, I really didn't have much input because they started talking about a lot of numbers and that was over my head. But then as I listened to it and heard from all the other coaches, it made a lot of sense from the standpoint of, don't we all want to play the game and decide who should get in the end, and not just set it up to where certain conferences get in, whether they don't play as well as other schools, because ultimately we're trying to find the best teams, whatever that number is, to get in a playoff, seed them appropriately, and then let them play for a championship. And so I'm in agreement with the commissioner, and it's by far the best way. I understand the backlash. Well, what if you only get one team in? Well, then the other teams need to play better. That's what I would say to Oklahoma State. That's what I would say to me as a head coach. So I like the Big 12 Conference. I like the future of this league. And I put my name behind the agreement that we made, that standard, that 5-11 is the way it should be. And if you play well, you deserve it, you earn it, you get in. If you don't, then you try again next year.
Time for a couple more questions. We'll go center left in the back.
Good morning, Coach. Alyssa Cooper with the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. So the Big 12 Conference has undergone a lot of changes over the past couple of years. How does that impact your recruiting when you're talking to players about the level of competition and the exposure that they can expect?
Well, one thing has happened, to go back to what we've done with our Big 12 Conference and the networks that we now have invited in that are tied in with games and the coverage and exposure that we can get. We're up to 16 teams now. There's still a new feel to this league. I think that is exciting and draws viewership across the country. The one thing that this league has is a lot of rivalry games that will continue on with the teams that have been in this league for a period of time, and then some of the schools that have come in just recently allow that to happen. And then I'm starting to see some new rivalries that are being created. There's a lot of reasons for us to be able to communicate to a young man that they should be excited about playing in the Big 12 Conference.
Our final question, center left.
Yeah, Barry Trammell, Tulsa World. Mike, your quarterback model has changed. Used to be, we knew what it was. It's varied in recent years. What would you like it to be? And what are these guys contending for this job this year? How close are they to that standard?
I think with quarterback play, it ties into kind of the new wave of college football, and that most coaches would agree that if you can keep two guys on your roster that have some sort of experience that you feel like can go in and compete in a game, that you'll be fortunate. I don't know that anybody will be able to carry three now because of the availability of quarterbacks to transfer. It is the one position that there is reason for transferring, because obviously you only play one in a game. A young man can get stuck behind a good player and not ever get a chance to play. So we have to build our offense around the availability we have at quarterback. Different than maybe in the past where we had recruited a certain type of player. I'm guessing that you're referring to pocket passer, ability to run and such. Wherever you find the quarterback that you think can be the most productive, provide leadership, and the team will rally around him and give you the best chance to win, then Coach Meacham and his staff have to find a way to build our offense around that player as we move forward. I don't know that we'll have the luxury to so-called recruit a prototype quarterback to fit our system more so than a quarterback that can play well enough, and we'll design the system around him.
Thank you for your time today, Coach, and good luck this season.
Thank you. Good seeing everybody.
West Virginia head coach Rich Rodriguez will join us at 11:40.
In my life, a little bit of Erica by my side, a little bit of Rita's all I need, a little bit of Tina's what I see, a little bit of Sandra in the sun, a little bit of Mary all night long, a little bit of Jessica, here I am, a little bit of you makes me your man.
Welcome back to day 2 of the 2025 Big 12 Football Media Days powered by Microsoft Copilot. Please welcome head coach Rich Rodriguez of West Virginia. Coach, the floor is open. We'll open it up for questions from the media. So please raise your hand and we'll get started. Right? Center right.
Coach, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Tyler Budge, CF Budge. You obviously used the transfer portal pretty heavily your first season at West Virginia, something you also had experience using a little bit at Jacksonville State. Could you describe some of the major differences in terms of roster building in this modern era at West Virginia versus a program like Jacksonville State?
Yeah, I'm sure I'm not the first coach to mention how transactional the rosters are and what's going on in college athletics right now. You know, and there wasn't a plan. I think your first year, you're probably going to have a little bit more roster turnover, you know, some with a new staff and all that. And, you know, it was more than we kind of expected, but at the same time, I didn't think we panicked. You know, the biggest thing is that you're going to bring a bunch of guys in. You got to make sure you evaluate the right way, and it doesn't change the culture or the environment that you got to have. And that's the one thing we were adamant on, that, you know, whether we bring in 70 new guys like this year or 25 next year or 30 next year, the culture and the environment has to be stable the way we want to do it, and that's why we feel good about it. But I'm hoping we don't have to do that every year. Last year, Jack State, I think there was over 60, and it took us a little longer than we should have to kind of get cranked up. But once it did, we wound up being pretty good. We're hoping the same thing happens.
All right, go center right in the back.
Justin Spears from the Arizona Daily Star. Coach, even though you're not playing Arizona this year, how does it feel for you to be in the same conference as Arizona, and what do you take from your time in Tucson?
Yeah, it was. I didn't really realize it, you know, probably after a couple weeks on the job, and I started looking at their league. I was like, oh, I know the programs, at least half the programs in our league from the Pac-12 days, whether it's Utah, Colorado, Arizona schools, played by BYU a couple of times, and so there's some familiarity with that. But this day and age in college athletics, like I said, everything is a little bit different. You know, I loved our time in Arizona. You know, it seems like, at least for myself and some of our staff, we've been on this journey for, 15 to 20 years or so, and as fate would have it, we're back in Morgantown. So I know Arizona's not on the schedule this year. They will be in the next couple of years. I know that'll be an emotional time as well. But I enjoyed our time there. But we're back home at West Virginia, so I'm pretty excited about that.
We'll go center right in the back.
Hey, Coach. Robert Aronoff with Latavius Murray's Knights 24/7, covering a program that has a head coach who's come home to the program. I want to ask you about what do you think some of the advantages and difficulties are of returning back?
Yeah, good question. I think, typically, and this is my 7th or 8th or 9th, whatever, head coaching spot, it take you 6 to 9 months to kind of get a lay of the land, not just your roster, but the town, the school, and the community and all that kind of stuff. Well, West Virginia, it took 6 to 9 minutes. Wasn't a lot that changed, and that was a neat part. But coming back home, I know where all the bodies are buried and the traps are laid, and kind of understand, the environment, so to speak. So that made it an easier transition. But then again, there's also times of change. We're in a new league. The game of college athletics has changed a little bit. It was kind of pleasing. The first thing I had been back in 17 years. I got a tour of our football facility, and I was blown away. $50-some million worth of improvements over the last 5 or 6 years, which was really neat. So a lot of the stuff that you wanted to have as a program, we were able to have coming back the second time. So, I guess the challenges are is everything is different now, but at the same time, it's not. Like West Virginia. In West Virginia, football is important, athletics is important, WU is important because we're a smaller state and there's no other Power 4 team, there's no pro organization, so it's a big deal to a lot of people, and I take a lot of responsibility for that, have responsibility for that because I know that. I played there, I coached there, I grew up there, so I think our players are going to hear that quite a bit. They already are, but I'm blessed, I'm fortunate. It doesn't happen very often that you get a chance to, I guess, come full circle and come back. There's so many things that take place for that to happen, and thankfully for myself, I've been blessed for the opportunity that happened.
We'll go center right, 6th row.
Hey, Rich, Spencer Ripchick from the Dominion Post, right here. You can see. All right. So this spring you talked about wanting guardrails in college football. Do you believe the new revenue sharing and College Sports Commission create those guardrails and move you towards that professional model that you wanted?
Yeah, a lot better guardrails than a month ago. I mean, it was a cluster for the last 3 or 4 years. All coaches are complaining about it, but it was just a mess, and nobody knew how to really solve it right away. And I still think it's a lot better now with the cap and the rev share, but there's still a lot of work to do. Until we get, I'm giving you my opinion, until we get some congressional or some help from D.C. and get more guardrails on the deal, it's still going to be a little bit of a cluster, but a heck of a lot better than it was a month ago. College athletics and college football is such a great entity. It's kind of hard to screw it up. We did everything we could in the last 4 or 5 years, it looks like, to try to do it. But you can't really screw it up too much because of the passion of college athletics, especially college football. But hopefully, smarter minds than myself will get that together. I think I've said this earlier today, I think they need to get the college athletic directors more input and more say-so in how college athletics is going to be run, because these are the guys and the ladies that know what's best for the schools and what's best for the country as we're in college athletics. But I've got my own opinions on it. I think we're in a better place now than we were a month ago. There's still some work to be done, but we can complain about as coaches, but hell, it's still a pretty good gig. You know what I mean? These are good jobs. There's a lot tougher jobs than being a college football coach. So, like I said, I'm fortunate and blessed to have what I have.
Again, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll go to center left.
Skylar Dixon with the AP. Rich, how has your career perspective changed in the nearly 20 years since you left Morgantown for Michigan?
Yeah, I think, but not just perspective, but professionally, I'm a smarter and a better coach than I was a week ago, let alone 20 years ago. And if I'm not, then I'm not doing my program or my players or my coaches any service. So I've got to be smarter a week from now. And I was, we're doing some of the same stuff, philosophically, what have you, from 20 years ago. But I had to grow. I had to grow as a coach. I've asked my staff to grow with me, the guys that are and the people that have been with me over the years, and so I want to continue to do that. I think if you learn from everything, whether it's good or bad, if you learn from everything, you got a chance to win. And I say this all the time, every decision I make now with the program is, does it help us win? And if I got to do something myself better than I did a week ago or a year ago, it's going to help us win, I got to follow that. So I think philosophically, if that's an answer to your question, that's where I feel. I feel like I said 20 years ago, we had some success, and that maybe helped me get some respect in getting this job, but I think if I didn't win at Jack State the last 3 years, I wouldn't have had this opportunity. So I think we're better than we were back then.
Center left, midway back.
Hi, Coach. Cody Nesper, Golden Blue Nation. There's been a lot of talk about how many good quarterbacks are in the league this year. How do you feel your group will measure up, I guess?
There is a lot of good quarterbacks. Hell, that ain't very pleasing to me. I wish there was no quarterbacks returning. I think it's the best collection of returning quarterbacks in the country by conference. But I like our quarterback room. I think there's a lot of positions. I have some unknowns, and there's a little bit of unknown in our quarterback room. But there's 4 or 5 guys that we feel that have the talent to have success in our quarterback room. So it's going to be an interesting competition. We have a couple guys that have played some football. I'm really excited about them. We got a couple young guys that got great futures. And it starts at that position. And that's why I think our league, the Big 12, and I'm not saying this is coach speak, is I have less filter than I did 20 years ago. But, if you don't have a good quarterback, you had no chance to win. There's a lot of really good quarterbacks in the Big 12 this year.
Again, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll go center left.
Hey, Coach, Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12. You talked a lot about change, NIL, transfer portal, revenue sharing, with even the last 5 years, how college football's evolved. Why do you keep coming back?
Myself as a coach? Yes. Hell, it's a lot easier than working in a coal mines or digging a ditch. You know what I mean? Like, you get frustrated because you could do everything right in recruiting and develop a relationship and all that kind of stuff, and the guy just gets bought. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. It's transactional. It's like facilities. It's important to have facilities and all that kind of stuff. Well, now, that's still important, but money has become the driving factor for a lot of them. So that could be frustrating if you don't have the same resources. But, I think now with the rev share and some of the other stuff, at least it's going to be a little bit closer and a little bit better. And I've always loved coaching. I started off at Division II level. And you're not taking a job for money or fame or anything like that. You're taking a job because you love coaching. You love being around athletics. And I still love it. That's why I still call plays. I still get in the middle of everything that we do on offense and defense and special teams because I love the game, first off. But I also love coaching guys and seeing guys go from what level they're at right now to another level and watching them grow as players and helping them along the way. That's still my greatest thrill is I know this is kind of crazy too, that there's you all that have been in, there's nothing like a winning locker room in football because there's so many people that did so much in order for you to have success. In that winning locker room, you see everybody hugging each other and high-fiving each other and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of a thrill that keeps me going too.
Center right, second row.
Hey, Coach. James Teckley, NT White Wright's son. During your first tenure at West Virginia, you were offensive innovator. You were running the zone read. You were running the spread to run the ball. You were also running a 33 stack on defense. Now it seems like trends in especially defensive football, everybody's running a nickel or a dime secondary, and a lot more people are running 11 personnel. Do you see offensive trends like kind of coming full circle where we're actually going back more towards power football and kind of segueing back into what you've been doing at West Virginia now and even at Jacksonville State?
Yeah, there's a lot of trends in football. It used to be, it started at the NFL level, then to college level, then to high school level. And now you're seeing pro teams take high school concepts or college concepts and putting it in there. It was more fun 20 years ago when not as many people were using tempo or spread formations because they didn't, you were unique. Now it's not as unique, but at the same time, I think you got to be who you are. And also be able to adapt. Like we're running a lot of the same stuff that we ran 20 years ago, but we're doing some of that stuff better, and we're doing some other stuff that other people have done better than us and copied them. So I enjoy that part of it. I still think getting players to play really, really hard and harder than they ever thought they could play is part of coaching as well that we take pride in. But the scheme part of it, I don't go into every game saying, "Well, we're going to out scheme these guys and we're going to be the smartest guys on there." And it's not what you call, it's what you can execute. So I've probably become simpler as opposed to more exotic, if that's the word, from a scheme standpoint. But the playing hard and playing physical aspect is never going to change.
Coach, thank you for your time today, and good luck this season.
Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming.
Kansas coach Lance Leipold will join us at noon. Welcome back to day 2 of 2025 Big 12 Football Media Days, powered by Microsoft Copilot. Now joining us on stage is Kansas head coach Lance Leipold. Coach, we'll begin with an opening statement, then we'll open up for questions for the media. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Coach?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's great to be here today. I want to thank all of you. We have a great turnout of so many writers covering our conference. We greatly appreciate it. We're excited to get started this fall here in Kansas as we move into the renovated David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium in a Week 0 game against Fresno, and we're excited to get started.
All right, we'll start front row, center right.
Hey, Coach. Nick Hamilton, Nightcast Media. Despite losing some talent and some leadership, how is Jalen Daniels being able to empower others around him to step up and to lead with him as well?
Yeah, as I said, throughout the day, you get a lot of Jalen Daniels questions. You have a chance to see him, maybe meet with him today. Jalen is healthy. He's excited. The thing I love about Jalen Daniels is he's the same person he was 4 years ago. He's humble. He's hardworking. It's been an interesting road for Jalen and the Jayhawks, and when we see Jalen playing his best, I think there's not many better, that's for sure. But at the same time, as he's had to persevere through some injuries and doing the things, he has stayed the same person. He doesn't make excuses. He's been positive. He walks around with the same smile on his face, and he's never once, like I said, made an excuse or deflected anything that hasn't gone his way. And that alone is something that I know our locker room greatly respects about him, and his energy and his positivity is very, very contagious.
Again, if you have a question, please raise your hand and our microphone holders will go to you. We'll go center right.
Oh, here, Coach. Tyler Budge, CF Budge. I know it's never that simple in college football, but if you could bottle up one or a few things from that mid-November run you guys had last season, what would it be?
Well, as we said, last year kind of hit probably on before that November run is the tough start to the season, and we just didn't play our best when our best was needed. We didn't close out football games. We had opportunities to. And at the same time, though, as we talk about our daily process within our program, we didn't waver on that. We didn't deflect and we didn't blame. We continued to work hard. And again, our locker room did a great job. Our leaders did a great job of sticking together and working hard. And I think we found out that, once we were able to turn the corner and flip the switch, so to speak, our confidence grew and we became the team that we thought we could have been all the way.
We'll go to sixth row, center left.
Hey Lance, Callis Robinette here with the Kansas City Star. You guys start off the season with a week 0 game and then a Friday game right after that. Why was it important for you guys to start that way?
Well, again, the week 0 game was something that was on the schedule before my arrival. Again, the opportunity when you play a team that's playing at Hawaii, you get a chance to get that week 0 game. We wanted to keep it once we saw it. It's timing up very well with the new stadium. As you know, there's a limited amount of games on in week 0. We feel it'll be a great time and exposure for our program and our new stadium. The Friday game, again, is another opportunity to kind of play. And as we go into the third game of the year, then we have a chance for an extra day of prep. So we feel that we played a lot of our FCS opponents on a weeknight, and we felt it would be good to stay in that format. So that's what we went with.
And if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll go to the back, center left.
Coach Alyssa Cooper with the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. So how do you approach building out the long-term plans for your program amidst the changes in the Big 12?
Well, again, as we continue to build our program is one that we want to continue building consistency. One of the things that has kind of come up, through a national media writer is that in the last 2 seasons of portal changes is that we've had the fewest scholarship players enter the portal at Kansas, and for us, roster retention has been a big factor for us, important ingredient since our arrival, because to be quite honest, there was a lot of attrition before we arrived, and be able to keep that's going to be part of it. In the new rev share model, we want to be competitive again in obtaining players. We still want to be able to develop players through high school ranks, as most of us do, and of course then supplement with players through the transfer portal.
Second row here.
All right. Coach Lane Harrington with State Live and Power 5. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am all right. So last season, you lost the program's all-time leading rusher, Devin Neal. Can you say how the running back room is holding up, like with players like Daniel Highshaw, and if it's going to be one running back getting the bulk of the carries, or it's going to be a running back by committee approach?
Well, first of all, Devin Neal was a special player for the University of Kansas, not just on the field but off. Being a Lawrence native, as we know, the impact of him staying in town to get his education and play his college football was special. And of course, the type of person he was, and as he moves on to the New Orleans Saints, we wish him nothing but the best. Daniel Highshaw right now is a player who's waited patiently and honestly, much like Jalen has had a kind of bumpy road with injuries and things. But 2 years ago, before he was injured in the Iowa State game, he probably was playing as good a football as anyone we had offensively. He's got a great combination of speed and power. He's a physical back. He has good hands. He's good in pass protection. LaShawn Williams was a young man we picked up in the portal from the University of Iowa, led Iowa in recruiting 2 years ago. Again, much like Daniel, he's a powerful back, and towards the back end of spring practice, he started to get his legs back about him. I really feel confident about those two guys, sharing the loading and giving us a very good backfield along with Jalen.
We'll go center left, sixth row.
Yeah, Barry Trammell, Tulsa World. Yesterday, Kalani Sitake suggested a schedule with play 3 non-conference games against a team from each of the other 3 power conferences. Any chance we can get you on board with that?
It's an interesting concept. I think scheduling is becoming a big topic as we transition into this playoff model that we've been going with now. I just think whatever it is, Barry, that it's more similar. We're playing the same amount of conference games, and if it's all power conference schools, again, because there's always going to be, I think we all know we're always going to compare who played who. And with the conferences being as large as they are now, we're not even going to play everybody in our conference like we used to a few years back. I think whatever gives us a better comparison, the better off we're going to be in this new world of playoff football.
Okay, center right.
Oliver Hayes, 24/7 Sports. I was wondering if you could speak on the offensive coordinator, Jim Zebrowski, after the debacle last season and having to weather in the storm after a rough start.
Well, I'll disagree a little bit on debacle, but first of all, we were a top 10 team in rushing. We were yards per play. We ended up being a very productive offense. Did we have some hiccups? Yes, but I still think we had some productive deals, enough that Jeff Grimes was very marketable to the University of Wisconsin. So Jim Zebrowski has taken over as offensive coordinator. Jim was my first hire ever as a head football coach when he gave up a head coaching position in Division III ranks to come be the coordinator at Wisconsin Whitewater. After 3 seasons, I think we lost 3 games and won 2 national championships. He moved on with Jerry Kill. After Coach Kill stepped down, Jim ended up joining us back at Buffalo. He's been with us ever since. He understands our culture. He's been an integral part of our offense and game planning in his role as quarterbacks coach prior. I look forward to him. He called the bowl game against UNLV in Arizona after Andy Koldnicki had moved on. So Jim has plenty of experience. He's got a great mind. Matt Lubick's rejoined us as a co-coordinator. I look forward to what our offense is going to be moving forward.
Coach, thank you for your time today, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
Joining us at 12:20 will be TCU head coach Sonny Dykes.
Hey there, miss, I don't recommend you get too close to this, 'cause I ain't. You look heaven sent and I don't make the list. The look of your lips has me wondering if I should call it quits. Get a grip, this ain't nothing that you wanna end up with. 'Cause I chase tequila, I chase the wine, I chase them girls around all the time. I play for living, I play for keeps. I lost money and I lost sleep, hey miss. I'm just another dog in the end, hey there, miss. It'd be over before it began. Been around the world, tried a bit of everything. Money, booze, and drugs, and everything that's in between. She still gave me her number, hoping I'd give her a ring. Man, I hate to be the one to shoot you down, but hey there, miss, I don't recommend you get too close to this, 'cause I ain't. You look heaven sent and I don't make the list. The look of your lips has me wondering if I should call it quits. Get a grip, this ain't nothing chase the wine, I chase them girls around all the time. I play for living, I play for keeps. I lost money and I lost sleep, hey miss. I'm just another dog in the end, hey there, miss. It'd be over before it began.
Day 2 session of the 2025 Big 12 Football Media Days powered by Microsoft Copilot. Now joining us on stage is TCU head coach Sonny Dykes. Coach, we'll open it up for questions, or open it up for a statement, and then we'll start with questions.
Yeah, I just want to say, first of all, thank you to the media for being here. We're fortunate to be able to be in this great facility here in Dallas, which is certainly convenient for me and our players, and just appreciate being in the city of Dallas where college football means so much in the whole DFW area. Also, too, want to compliment the coaches that are here. You know, it's pretty remarkable. You see Kyle Whittingham back there, who's been at Utah for 22 years. Mike Gundy, I think year 21 at Oklahoma State. You know, the success those guys have had is really pretty remarkable. You know, you look at Willie, Fritz, Lance Leipold, those guys, you know, are outstanding football coaches, have won at places that are very difficult to win at. You know, I just think overall this conference has tremendous coaches, guys that know how to win, guys that know how to win at tough places. You know, really excited about the Big 12. You know, I think Brett's done a tremendous job of positioning us. Excited about the future of college football. You know, it's been, I talked about this earlier, it's been surgery by chainsaw to get us where we are today, but I do think we're making progress in the right direction in terms of the big picture things that are happening now. Finally, the talent is being compensated in college football and the players are being paid. You know, my sincere hope is that everyone operates within the spirit of the rules, just like they do in professional sports. You know, I'd like to see college football cleaned up. I want to see it cleaned up for the student athletes. I think as coaches, we're supposed to set an example for them. And as universities, we're supposed to set an example. So my hope is that, you know, teams will operate within the new rules and that we'll have great parity in college football. It's the greatest game in the world. It's an exciting time of year. There's no place I'd rather be than Big 12 Media Day to day. So, again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to visiting with you guys.
And if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll go to the center right in the back.
Coach, Steven Simcox from Locked On Horned Frogs. How do you feel about your running back room right now, and specifically Jeremy Payne and Nate Palmer going into this season?
Yeah, good question. Excited about that group. You know, I think we did not run the football well last year. I think if you say what do you need to improve on, you know, early in the year we were a turnover machine. We turned the ball over way too many times. We didn't create enough turnovers defensively. We got to be able to stop the run better defensively, but the big thing is we got to be able to run the football on offense. You know, our offense works at a really, really high level when we can run the ball. So, you know, we have some young running backs. You know, Nate Palmer, I think, really asserted himself in the spring. You know, got some carries in the bowl game last year. Started to see some really good things from him. I'm very excited about him. He's a young player that I think has a tremendous opportunity. Jeremy Payne is another very exciting young player who really was our most productive running back last season. Trent Battle's a veteran who's been a journeyman for us, who's done a lot of different things for our program to help us win. He's coming back. And then Kavorian Barnes is a transfer that we're very excited about. You know, we've got to finish runs and play more physical than we did last year at that position. Those guys are capable of doing that. We've got to play better up front. We've got to do a better job being physical and having that mindset. And so, you know, I think a big part of our success this year is going to be determined by how well we run the football, and can we do it consistently, and can we do it in critical situations.
We'll go 4th row, center right.
Stephen Johnson, Fort Worth Star Telegram. How's it going, Sonny?
Hey, Stephen. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. For you guys, we know talking through the spring, you really like this team. You really like the depth. You got both your coordinators back, retained most of your players during the spring. I'm curious, what does success look like for you this season?
Yeah, I think everything you said is true, Stephen. I think when you have your quarterback back, obviously you have Josh Hoover back. Thought he really finished the season strong last year. Really excited about who he is, what kind of leader he is, what kind of player he is. But I think having Andy Avalos back for year 2, I think we'll make some huge strides defensively. I think we're going to be able to do more things. We've got more depth outside, really, at the cornerback position that I think will allow us some freedom that we hadn't had in the past, to be a little bit more exotic in some of the things we do defensively. Really like our depth at corner. You know, I think we've got 6, 7 guys that I feel pretty good about playing at that position, which we certainly have not had that in the past. You know, Kendall Browse is going on year 3 as the offensive coordinator. I think our guys know what to do, know how to do it. And so, you know, I expect us to make a big jump as a program. I really do. What is a successful season for us? It's to reach our potential. I really do believe that. You know, if you go back to 22 and you said what would have been a successful season 22 from the outside looking in, maybe 7, 8 wins. You know, and we went 12-0 and ended up playing for a national championship that year. So for us, it's really about reaching our potential. What does that look like? I don't really know that quite yet. A lot of that's going to be how do these pieces come together. I think we're at that point in our program right now where if we're not in the Big 12 championship game, it's probably not a successful season. And so that's where we want to be. You know, we think we're a team that year in, year out should be in the Big 12 title hunt. And, you know, we think this team is capable of doing that. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, there's going to be so many factors that go into that. Can we stay healthy, and do the guys come through like we think they can, and can we play at a high level, and can we, you know, learn to deal with adversity and success and all the things that you have to go through to have a successful season. But I like this team. I really do. I like our makeup. I like the guys. You know, we have 6 really special young men with us today. You know, guys that are mature, guys that are unselfish, guys that really care about the team. You know, you don't hear that discussed very often in today's college football world. You know, some of it's me, and we don't have those kind of issues in our program right now. I mean, we just have guys that love each other. They love playing at TCU. They love going to school at TCU. They love living in Fort Worth. They're really committed to not letting their teammate down. And it's a fun team to coach, man. I just love being around these guys. We went to dinner last night as a group. I loved talking to them. I loved hearing about what they were doing. Just a special group of guys. I mean, just smart, mature, unselfish, hardworking young people that we can all be proud of.
We'll go center right, second row.
All right. Coach Lynn Harrington with State Line Power 5. How you doing today?
I'm good, thanks.
That's good to hear. So to follow up what you were talking about, your quarterback, Josh Hoover, I mean, he set a school record throwing for nearly 4,000 yards last season. Do you think his experience, production, and leadership can leave a legacy like Andy Dalton's or Max Duggan's at DCU?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think, like I said earlier, you know, when you sit down and you say, okay, what makes a quarterback a great quarterback, I'm not so sure that the most important quality isn't an innate ability to just make people around you better. And I think that's what Josh does better than anything. Now, look, he throws the ball as well as any quarterback I've coached, and I've been fortunate to coach some good ones. You know, #1 pick overall, Super Bowl MVP, guys like that have gone on and had a lot of success at the next level. He's right there in terms of his ability to throw the football. But his most important and best characteristic is just who he is. And you know, as I said, he brings out the best in people. He's incredibly unselfish. The guys love him. They respond to him. They know that he cares more about them than he does himself. And that's pretty special at that position. You know, in today's world, you know, quarterbacks sometimes can be a handful to deal with, and he's not that way at all. He's just such a great teammate. But I think he's going to have a big year. I really do. I think the thing that is going to make him even more successful is I think he believes in the supporting cast. I think he believes in what we're doing from a scheme standpoint. I know that he believes that we're going to be better defensively, and that takes a lot of pressure off of him to go out there and have to score 40, 50 points to win. We're not going to have to do that. And so he can go out there and check the ball down and make the routine plays, and that's going to be good enough to give us a chance to win on Saturdays. And when you know that as a quarterback, that takes a lot of pressure off of you. It just allows you to go out and perform and do your job and not try to do too much. And so I think he'll take a big step and continue to progress, and I think he'll be one of the elite quarterbacks in college football.
Hey, Coach. Wanted to ask you just right here to your right.
Okay, sorry.
You're good. Nick Hamilton, Nightcast Media. Just wanted to ask you just how impactful has Elijah been to your program, and then what do you see for him this season?
Well, you know, he's been a little bit banged up so far. He had a pretty significant injury coming over from Washington. But expect him to, you know, played on the national championship team at Washington as a starting corner. Expect him to be a vital part of our team. You know, got a lot of experience playing. Really, really talented. Haven't really seen him completely well yet. Had a pretty significant surgery, but you know, reports are that he is back full speed. You know, participating fully and fully cleared. So excited to see what he's going to do. I mean, he plays with a lot of confidence. He's a really interesting guy. Got a great personality about him. Very competitive. Certainly going to give us a ton of depth at that position, a lot of experience. And as I talked about earlier, you know, in today's world, having corners that you're comfortable matching up with just really changes what you can do defensively. It allows you so much more freedom, and you can be much more aggressive in what you want to do and how you want to do it. So excited about Elijah and and what he's going to mean to our program.
Hi, Sonny.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. My name is Fatima Johnson with D210 Sports. I have a two-part question for
Okay.
you. So with Bud Clark entering what could be his final college season, how close do you feel he is to being NFL ready? And from a coach's perspective, what areas do you feel he needs more improvement?
Yeah, good question. I think Bud, quite frankly, was probably NFL ready last year. Bud has played so much football. If you go back and you look at the 22 season, we're playing in big games, and Bud's making play after play after play in those big games on the biggest stage, in the national championship game, in the semifinal game against Michigan, made a bunch of big plays. He's got a knack for being around the football. He's a really athletic, long, rangy safety that can cover. Is much more physical maybe than you think he is. Really good tackler. I think the big thing Bud wanted to do, he played at a high level last year, but I think he realizes he's capable of playing even better. And I think that's what brought him back. And that's one of the things that I think is good about rev share now. You can go and you can pay a guy like Bud Clark what he deserves to get paid now, and he doesn't have to go to the NFL. He's able to come back for another year, refine his craft, get a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger. Bud's been one of those guys that he burns really hot. He's had a hard time putting weight on, and I think now he's gotten bigger, he's gotten stronger. That's going to help him be more durable, stay healthy. Anyway, I'm really excited about what he's capable of. He's got that experience. The safety position right now is like the linebacker position used to be in college football. Those are the guys that have to be leaders. They get everybody lined up. They communicate. Playing safety is a very, very difficult thing from a mental standpoint in today's college football game. And Bud understands the game, and Bud's very comfortable in the game and what he does. And he's going to have a heck of a year. I'm excited.
One final question for Coach. We'll go center left.
Good morning, Coach. Mike Wilson, Sports Byline Radio. You mentioned earlier about players getting paid and coaches staying within the spirit of the rules, right? How do you are there any other guidelines with that do you think need to be added, and anything with that with the portal as well?
Yeah, I think right now, obviously college football is partnered with Deloitte, and what Deloitte is going to do in terms of assessing real NIL and what that's going to mean. And okay, so what happens if you violate that? What's going to be the cost of doing that, and all the things? There's so much football, there's so much passion around college football right now that you're going to have people, you're going to have boosters, you're going to have fans, you're going to have people that want to break rules. I mean, that's been part of the game of football for forever. Hundreds of years, going back 100 years. It's been happening forever. And I think finally now we have a system, or we're developing a system that is supposed to help provide some guidance in that. And my hope is that Deloitte, that they have teeth, that the NCAA provides them with an opportunity, or college football provides them with an opportunity to, to help manage these things. Because college football is better when there's parity. That's what makes the NFL great, is there's 16, 18 teams right now in the NFL that probably have a legitimate chance to go to the Super Bowl and win the championship. That's more than 50% of the league. Is that the case in college football? No, it's certainly not. And we need to have as much parity in the game as we can possibly have. And the only way that you can do that is by having revenue sharing, which we finally have, but then also controlling the NIL money that is made on top of that. So my hope is that they do that. My hope is that that system is developed at a very high level, operates at a high level, punishes people that need to be punished, and results in college football becoming even better because the game is great. I mean, it's a great time for the game of football right now. As I said, the players are being compensated. The players have freedom to make decisions that's going to benefit them and their families. It's about time that they've had those. It's resulted in some awkward situations for all of us involved in the game, but I think it's where it needs to be. And I'm really, really excited about the future of college football. I really believe in the game. I believe in the players. I want the adults to be adults, and I want us to operate within the framework of the rules, and I want us to do what is best for the game and what's best for the kids. And then we need to have that mentality as we move forward. So, my hope is that we'll continue to develop those systems, and those systems will be able to have some teeth and will be able to do what they need to do to help govern the game and make it even better than it is.
Coach, thank you for your time today, and good luck this season.
Okay, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Utah coach Kyle Whittingham will join us here at 12:40.
Trying to escape. I am back when I heard thunder, but I'm down to one last breath. And will it let me say, holding on. I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking maybe 6 feet ain't so far down. Hold me now.
Welcome back to Big 12 Football Media Days, powered by Microsoft Copilot. Now on the stage, we have Utah head coach Kyle Whittingham. Coach, we'll start with an opening statement, then we'll open up for questions. Media, if you have a question, please raise your hand. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll give the Cowboys some more exposure here. There we go. Okay. First off, just want to express just the tragedy in Kerrville, and the hearts go out to the community of Kerrville and what they've experienced. Thoughts and prayers with the families of the victims, and just such a tragedy, and just want to let them know that they're first and foremost, at least in my mind, and really such a sad thing, and hopefully they can heal, and just really no words to express other than so sorry for that, and wish them well. As far as University of Utah, coming off a season that was disappointing to say the least. It's not who we have been traditionally, not who we are, but that's the way the season went, so there's no excuses. We just have to be better. I'm excited for this season. We have some things going for us this year. We think we have a tremendous offensive line. It's a great starting point offensively anytime you're good up front, and we feel like we have really good players up there, a couple projected first-round draft choices at the tackle position, 3 seniors inside that have all played good football for us, and really good players. All 3 could get drafted as well, so we expect to be very good up front, which will make life much better for our quarterback, Devin Dampier, transfer from New Mexico. He came with Jason Beck, the offensive coordinator at New Mexico, so he's been able to be in the system that he was in last year. He was like a coach on the field for us in spring ball, a tremendous leader. He was voted to the Leadership Council after having only been on campus for 2 weeks. That's how much his teammates thought of him after being around him for 2 weeks. So he's a dynamic player, true dual threat, rushed for over 1,000 yards, threw for over 2,500 yards. I've been told there's only 4 quarterbacks in NCAA history that have been able to achieve that. So excited to watch him play this fall. And if spring ball is any indication, you guys are in for a treat to watch him play this fall. Defensively, just in general, we've been good on defense literally for decades. We expect more of the same this year. Proud of the way the defense competed last year. They were put in some bad situations, didn't have a whole lot of help last year, but continued to battle and put up some really good numbers on the defensive side of the ball. So anyway, we're excited to get the season going. It'll be here before you know it. Players report 29th of July. We open up on August 30th in the Rose Bowl against UCLA, and away we go. So questions?
All right, go center right, 7th row.
Tyler Budge, CF Budge. Coach, you already talked about some of the new offensive additions a little bit. What drew you to Jason Beck as a play caller and a coordinator, and also what added benefit will be there from guys like Dampier that fall on from New Mexico?
Well, great question. Myself, our defensive coordinator, Morgan Scally, who is our coach in waiting, did a national search when we had the coordinator position available. Just watching all the tape of the various offenses, the production, the creativity, the innovation, how they use their players. When all was said and done, myself and Coach Scally were on the exact same page that Jason Beck was a great fit for what we're doing and what direction we wanted to go. When we got Jason on board, Devin Dampier, his quarterback in the Mex last year, was eager to stay with Jason and stay in the same offense. So Devin transferred in, having him know the offense and not have any learning curve at all, because he's been through, Jason has complete autonomy to do what he wants offensively. We're going to be almost a carbon copy of what New Mexico was in philosophy. He does a great job, Jason does, of utilizing personnel, getting guys in position to be successful. And so you'll see some different twists than what you saw last year, but that's just because he's making the most of the players that he has available. Devin and the offense at New Mexico finished 4th in the nation last year in total offense. Not to be disparaging, but he was pretty much a one-man show and did most of it on his own. And so I'm sure he's excited to be able to operate behind our offensive line.
Center left, front row.
Steve Bartle, KSL Sports. Coach, after the changes you've made this offseason, how do you feel those changes with your staff, with the players, have meshed with the culture and the identity of the program that you've built over the last 2 decades?
I think it's been a good addition to the coaching staff with Jason and Mark Atawai and Mike and Simon. Those are the 3 new offensive coaches. Coy Detmer is also with us as an analyst on offense. It's been a seamless transition. Spring ball was very productive. Our defensive coaches, I know, are very impressed with what Jason has brought to the table and the difficulty to defend, the formations and the way he utilizes personnel. So far, it's been a good situation. The rubber will hit the road when we start playing in the fall, but I'm excited to see how it goes.
Center right, front row.
Hey, Coach. Nick Hamilton, Nightcast Media. You spoke earlier about Devin Dampier, about his leadership and how he's been able to ingratiate himself into the culture and as well as with the team. How do you see him having, as far as this season, being able to do that on and off the field, to be able to be an extension of you and your staff while keeping the chains moving?
Well, he's off to a great start. As I mentioned, he's got the respect of his peers, having been voted on the Leadership Council. his leadership. I talk about his physical ability. He's got that it factor that you look for in quarterbacks. He's got the field general mentality that you look for. He's a guy that everybody gravitates towards. There's no doubt who's in charge on offense. We don't huddle, and so it's not like he commands the huddle. But everybody looks to Devin as the leader of the offense, and that's pretty impressive. Like I said, the short time that he's been on campus, but he's a guy that is a proven commodity. There's things he needs to work on. We got to get the completion percentage up a little bit higher. We've got to get the touchdown to interception ratio a little bit better. But he was just a sophomore last year, and he definitely made improvement in those areas through spring ball.
We'll go center left, fifth row.
Kyle, what went into the decision to move Otto Tia from wide receiver to tight end, and who are the other names you just kind of expect to emerge as your top pass catchers this season?
Well, Otto Tia, first of all, he's a big kid. He's 225 pounds, and he fights to stay at 225. He's probably bigger than that now, but he's 6'4 plus, and just for what Jason Beck envisions for him, it's a better fit as a tight end. Now, he's not a true inline tight end. He'll be more of an H-back guy where he can move around, flex out, and create some mismatches, hopefully, on offense. But he's a guy that is got a lot of ability, and we just felt in this game and what Jason saw through the first couple weeks of spring ball, it was a benefit to him and us to move him into the tight end spot. As far as the wide receiver position, that's probably the biggest question mark on the football team right now as far as the hierarchy, who's going to be wide receiver 1, 2, and 3, etc. We didn't come out of spring with any true pecking order. We've got a lot of good players there. I think we have 4 or 5 transfers at the position, and so that will continue to be a battle and a competition going through fall camp. And probably the most important thing that we can do in fall camp is to sort those wide receivers out and determine who are going to be the go-to guys.
We'll go center left, second row.
Sammy Morey, UteZone.com, 24/7 Sports. Kyle, there's been a lot of talk about the offense, obviously, rightfully so, with the transition to Jason Beck. But the Utah defense, it brings back quite a few key contributors from last season. What are you looking for specifically from, Lander Barton, Smith Snowden, Teo Johnson as they head into this season?
Well, I would say more of the same. Like I said earlier, the defense has been very consistent, very something that you can count on from year to year. Can't remember the last time we've had a real down year defensively, and so the defense just needs to do what they've been doing for a lot of years. One thing we can do a better job of is taking the football away. If there's a knock on last year's defense, is we did not create enough takeaways, and that's something that will help out the offense tremendously. And we could have used that obviously to help out our offense last year. But as far as defending the run, defending the pass, red zone production, total yards a game, all those things are in line, but we've got to get back to taking the ball away, which historically and traditionally we've done a very good job. Last year was probably the least efficient year in a long time as far as taking the ball away.
We'll go center right, third row.
Sam Foster, Daily Universe. Yesterday, a lot of questions were asked to Keanu Tanavasa just about his decision to transfer and the rivalry as a whole. Can you just brush up on your team's reaction to him deciding to transfer, and what's it like to be in this rivalry with so many ties between both universities?
As far as that goes, you just move on. An old experienced coach once told me, you win with the players you got, you don't worry about the players you don't have, so I really have nothing to add to that. The rivalry, it's good to see, not good to see, but it adds a different dimension to it and more meaning to it when you're both in the same league, which we haven't been for years and years, but now we are. And so that not only is a rivalry game, but a game that could and should be instrumental in who ends up winning the Big 12. So in that respect, it's ratcheted up quite a few notches and back to where it was, the feel of where it was when we were in the Mountain West Conference together.
We'll go center right, second row.
Coach Lynn Henry to State Line Par 5. How you doing today?
Good, thank you.
That's good to hear. So can you talk about your defensive coordinator, Morgan Scaly, and what he means to your program, considering, he played for Utah, was a graduate assistant, spent his whole coaching career with the Utes, and I guess he's supposed to be your successor whenever you decide to retire, I guess, I don't know. But can you explain what he means to the program and to you?
Yeah, well, he is the coach in waiting, the head coach in waiting, which, as I understand it, when it's time for me to to hit the highway, he's the next guy in line, and that's contractually in place as of now. I've known Morgan for, 25 years, 30 years. Recruited him to Utah, coached him as a player, hired him as a GA, hired him as a full-time coach, promoted him to defensive coordinator. I mean, me and Morgan have many of the same philosophies, many of the same teaching techniques, the fundamentals. We've always been on the same page from a recruitment standpoint, the personnel, the type of players we need at Utah. And I have no doubt that when his time comes to lead the program, he'll do a terrific job, and he'll be more than ready for it.
Time for one final question. We'll go center left 6.
Kyle, Jake Hatch, Locked On Podcast Network. I wanted to ask you about your offensive line. You talked about you have Lomu as potential first-round picks. Are you willing to declare this offensive line the best in the country?
We hope it. Oh, best in the country? That's a tough statement because I haven't studied the entire country as far as what people have coming back. But I can say with confidence we should be the best offensive line since I've been at the University of Utah, which has been forever. And so, we're going to lean on them heavily. And if they play like we think they're going to play, that's going to be a huge plus for our offense. But as far as weighing them nationally, you'd have to ask Phil Steele or someone like that what his thoughts are.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
At 1 o'clock, we'll have Arizona head coach Brent Brennan. Welcome back to the 2025 Big 12 Football Media Days powered by Microsoft Copilot. Now on the stage, we have Arizona head coach Brent Brennan. Coach will start with an opening statement, then we'll open up for questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Coach?
All right, good to see everybody. It's great to be here. It's been a really fun and busy day. I've got 6 incredible players with me representing the University of Arizona. Going to be talking a lot about just what a busy offseason it's been for us. Obviously, last fall was unacceptable for our staff, our program, and our university, and we're busy fixing that ever since. We've had a crazy time in the portal. Spring ball went really well, put together a really good recruiting class, made some tough decisions on our coaching staff, and I love the direction we're headed. So it's an exciting time for us, and now we're in the process of building our football team. Building a football team in a time in college football we've never seen anything like it. But it's also an exciting time. It's an exciting time to be a part of the Big 12 Conference. I think this conference is so deep and everybody is well coached. There's high-level talent, and there's a really fun game to watch. And I think that part of it is exciting for us at U of A because I feel like it's a conference that is deep, but everybody has a chance to win. And that's something I'm really excited about. So we're hard at work this offseason. This summertime, our players are getting after it in the Tucson heat. And I love where we're headed, and I love what we're doing. So I just want to say thank you for having me here, and I'm ready for your questions.
All right, we'll go to the center right in the back.
Justin Spears from the Arizona Daily Star. Coach, what gives you optimism that this year will be different than last?
Well, I think it starts with the decision we made with the coaching staff. I think our new defense coordinator, Danny Gonzalez, I'm really excited about his process with our team so far. I'm excited about Seth Daggy and our offense, just kind of the aggressive, explosive offense that we want to play at the U of A. And then I'm also excited about Craig Niver and what he's doing with our kicking game. I think it starts with them, but then I also think about Noah Fafita being a year older, a year more mature. I think the consistency of our coaching staff, our leadership, and the team knowing what my expectations are and how we're going to do things going forward. And I think it's a lot cleaner right now than it was a year ago, and I'm optimistic about how this season's going to go.
Again, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll go center right, second row.
Coach Lee Harrington with State Live Power 5. How you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
I am all right. So to follow up on what you were talking about, your quarterback, Noah Fafita, I mean, he did take a big step back last season. But with the loss of T-back in the first round in NFL, like how much strides can you think he could take forward approaching this upcoming season?
So I think the step back for Noah Fafita is my fault, not his. We didn't do a good enough job running the football, and we didn't do a good enough job protecting him, right? Which I think we've done. We've made some moves in the direction of making that better right now. I think when we get to December, everybody in the conference and maybe everybody in America is going to be talking about Noah Fafita. When you watch how he delivers the football, he's one of the cleanest throwers I've ever seen, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do in Seth Daggy's offense. This is the perfect fit for him, and it's his time to shine. Okay. T-Mac or not, we love T-Mac. T-Mac's going to crush it in the NFL. We put enough wideouts in that room. We put enough skill positions around him in an offensive front. You're going to love what you see from Noah.
We'll go center left.
Hi, Coach. Mike Wilson, Sports Byline Radio. Is there a player on your team that surprised you or players on your team that surprised you during spring ball?
You know, I think we're excited about Ty Buchanan. I think he's done a lot of good stuff in the offensive front. When I think about the receiver room, like I just mentioned, or the running back room, those have been both rooms where we added, you know, probably 75% of the room is new. And so I think those things are going to be really exciting to watch. Whether you're talking about Quincy Craig or Ishmael Mahdi at the running back position, you know, Luke Wysong, Trey Spivey, Chris Hudson at the receiver position. So there's a lot of change there, but there's also a good influx of what we consider high-level talent, guys that have played a lot of snaps in college football and have really good experience that I think are going to contribute greatly to what we're trying to get done. And then, you know, I think you'll have a chance to talk to some of the guys today around here that we brought out with us on that defensive side. But, you know, Genesis Smith has just been a consistent, high-energy, high-effort player, a lot of fun to coach, and you know, made a lot of plays last fall for us. And, you know, he was a guy that the people came hard after in the portal, but he stayed true to Arizona like Fafita did, and we feel great about him too. So there's a lot of players that people are going to have fun watching this fall.
Go center left. Barry.
Yeah, Brent, Barry Trammell, Tulsa World. Kalani Sitake yesterday suggested a non-conference schedule in which everybody plays one team from the other 3 power conferences. Can you go along with that?
I love Kalani, but I tend to disagree with Kalani all the time. I'm just kidding. Kalani and I worked together a long time ago, and we're dear friends. But I would say, I think anything that we can get on the same page where everybody in college football is doing the same thing, I'm all for that. So whether that's how we schedule, how we rev share, how we NIL, how we recruit, what the calendar is, what the like, I'm all for that. But the scheduling is done so far in advance, like I don't get to weigh in on those things normally. You know what I mean?
Or we have a question in the center right, in the back. Again, if you have a question, please raise your hand and keep raising it until we have a microphone holder. Thank you.
Coach, how would you summarize the last year and what you learned from year 1 at Arizona?
Summarize is a big word, Mr. Spears. I would say we learned a lot in our first year at Arizona. I think the transition, the biggest thing maybe I learned is that just transition is challenging. Transition is hard. And there's lots of things that I could have done better as a head football coach, as the leader of the program, that I have a little bit better, I have a better understanding now of what that looks like and exactly which way we're going to do it. And when we came back from Christmas break, we started with a really simple, fundamental thought, and that was we want guys that want to be at the University of Arizona, that are tough and believe in this program and really, truly want to be here. And so the idea that we're going to chase guys in and out of the portal every year, and we're going to be doing all that stuff, I just don't think that gives you a chance to build the kind of connected, committed football team we want to build at U of A. And so the way we started the season, that's what did we learn? I learned that transition is tough, and the only way to move forward is the people that want to be there, that are totally committed and really connected.
Coach, thank you for your time today, and best of luck this season.
Thank you. Bear down.
Colorado head coach Deion Sanders will join us at 1:20. Welcome back to the 2025 Big 12 Football Media Days, powered by Microsoft Copilot. Now on the stage, we have Colorado head coach Deion Sanders. Coach will start with an opening statement and then open it up for questions. Thank you.
Well, God is good. I have no idea how good he is. Brent Yormark, I love you, man. I appreciate you. I think we have the best commissioner. I know we have the best commissioner in college football. Man that has called me daily, checked on me, make sure I'm straight, make sure I'm getting better and better. And I love you to life, my brother. I know you're somewhere clean as the Board of Health right now. And I love you to life, and you are absolutely the best. What you have in store for the Big 12. Rick, my AD, love you to life. You've always believed. You've always been a man of a standard. And I thank you for giving me a tremendous opportunity. The coaches of the Big 12 are incredible. I love them. They've been calling, checking on me, making sure I'm straight. But you talk about knowing football, teaching football, communicating with their kids. None of this stupid animosity or jealousy. I love the coaches of the Big 12. I want to beat them all, but I love them. I truly do. We've sold out season tickets for the 3rd straight season and 11th time in CU history. Prior to 2023, it had been 26 years since we sold out, which is incredible. I'm truly thankful for that. Class rankings, class number 24 overall, third straight top 25 class. First time on record, three straight top 25 classes. I love it. Our coaching staff, this is without Byron Leftwich, which I'm praying that he does the right thing, and Mike Zimmer. We have 160 years of NFL experience with those two added. That's 204 years of NFL experience, and I want those years. Last season, the first season in CU history, only team in the country to appear on network television or flagship station of ESPN every single darn game, and I love it. And as for right now, we have 4 games slated for network television as well as ESPN. There's Georgia Tech, Delaware, Houston, and BYU opening out the gate. So we will be seen and we will be heard and we will be known. You youngsters out there, they're still trying to decide where you want to land. Okay, we're gonna start off with a wonderful woman, because that's what I do, and I have that kind of respect. So let's put a microphone to one of the ladies. Let's go.
We'll go center right, second row.
First of all, how you all doing? You good? You just saying that? Or you good for real? There you go.
Hi, Coach Prime.
How you doing?
Glad to have you here with us, first
Love
of all,
your hair.
today.
Love your hair.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm Candace Lamb with D210 Sports.
Got you.
Coach Prime, you faced your own adversity recently, and while that's personal, your strength and how you've carried yourself publicly has been public. We've all seen it. I want to know how you instill that strength, obviously, in your players and this program, and how you merge that into the culture that you're shaping at Colorado.
Great question. First of all, I trust God with all my might, all my soul, and everything I have. I never waver. I never say, why me, regardless of what's ahead of me or what I see. Like, Lord, just use me. If you could use anything, you could use me. So I'm truly thankful. I'm truly a go-getter. I want to win at all costs. I want to win the right way. I want to set the right standards. And I want to prepare these young men for life, not just football. I want them to be professional. First, and second of all, I forgot, where's Mike Irvin, the playmaker? He came here with me today. Man, I love you to life, man. I just want you to know that. I want to tell everybody in front of I love you to life. I really do. Thank you. Don't make me cry up here. Thank you for being you, man. I really do. Boy, I love you. Let's go.
Center left in the back.
David Ubben with The Athletic. Coach, what have been the challenges of your health issues, and what did an average day look like for you?
Athletic, sometimes y'all be on that bull junk, so I'm really not going to tell you much.
All right.
You know that. But I'm not here to talk about my health. I'm here to talk about my team.
Do you know what an average day looked like for you on the range?
Average day, I'm looking good. I'm living lovely. God has truly blessed me. Not a care in the world. Not a want or desire in the world. Thank you, sir.
All right, appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Center right.
Hey, Coach. Xavier McNevin, Scobo Sports. I wanted to ask about your wide receiver group going into the season.
They are unbelievable.
They are.
They are awesome. I can't wait to unleash them. They're great. Now, you got to understand, they're replacing some dogs that all of them will be in a professional, all 4 of them will be in a professional camp from a year ago. But these young men are unbelievable. I can't wait till the world get a glimpse of these receivers. We have some youngsters from freshmen on up that can flat out go get it. And I'm proud. I'm proud of our recruits, our coaches. I'm proud of what we've brought into Boulder, Colorado.
Center left, second row.
Hey, Coach, Ryan Koenigsberg from DNVR. First of all, how are you feeling
What's
today?
going on, boss?
What's going on, man?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Don't I look good?
You look great.
Well, thank you. Look good. I'm feeling good.
Your quarterback room also looks great. You have
Yeah.
2 really talented players.
We brought both of them because I don't know which one's going to start.
My question to you is, would you be comfortable with a situation where both guys played?
Yeah. As long as they're doing their jobs and we winning, we definitely want to continue to develop Juju, but Caden is unbelievable. Caden's off the chain. He's been there, done that. He can get the job done. I wouldn't have brought him here if I didn't trust him. But Juju is coming on around the mountain when he comes. And I love him. I love what he brings to the table. I don't know how it's going to play out, as long as it plays out. We can't lose either way with either of those two.
Fourth row, center right.
Coach Prime, how are you?
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm Jarrett Ramirez with RedRaidersports.com. You talked a lot about Media Day last year about your relationship with Joey McGuire at Tech. I'm just curious if you paid attention at all to what they've been doing in the portal, especially.
Yeah, Joey got some money. Joey, where you at, baby? Spending that money. I love it. I love it. Once upon a time, you guys was talking junk about me going in that portal. Now, when everybody go in the portal, it's okay. It's cool when they do it. There's a problem when I do it. Ain't that a rap song? First of all, let's get this straight. I love me some Joey McGuire. And one of the best coaches in our conference. I've seen him excel from high school all the way to where he is now, and he's a winner. And I absolutely love it. And you know, I love him because he's a man of standard. We played there last year, and we was getting bombarded by them tortillas. I don't know how to say it. Somebody say it. Tortillas. We was getting bombarded by that. And Joey grabbed the microphone and told him to stop throwing at us, or it's going to be some consequences. And I love that. And I love Joey. Joey, I know you're out there, baby. I love you, man. I appreciate you. Can you send, a few of those dollars to us so we can get some of those players, too?
Center left in the back.
Good afternoon, Coach. Alyssa Cooper with the Fort Worth
Where you at,
Star
baby? I can't. Where you at? Okay, there you go. There you go.
Coach, you've spoken very positively about the Big 12, and I was just wondering, how do you build out the long-term plans for your program, given that the conference has grown and changed over the years?
Well, I started this by saying I love our commissioner, I love our AD, and they provided a luxury of growth, of unity, and respect. So our long-term plans are to win. Our short-term plans are to win. I have a simple formula. It's like 40-40-20, grad transfers, and high school kids. So I stick to what we do, what we know that works for us. It may not work for somebody else, but it works for us. And it's been working for us, so I'm pleased with it. Great question.
Center left, fourth row.
Hey, Coach. Justin Lasser, Toasted Devil's Digest over here. Hope you're doing well.
Thank you.
You and Kenny Dillingham both got started at your respective programs
Yeah.
at the same time in the Pac-12. Played them that year. You guys won. Now made the transition to the Big 12, and you guys play again this year, except 2 years later, they're coming in as Big 12 champions. So
Yeah.
what could you say just about what Kenny's done for
First
that
of all,
program?
Coach Dillingham is unbelievable. He's a dear friend. We go way back. I thought we was going to have the opportunity to coach together at one point, but he's excelled, man. And what he did last season was darn believable. I didn't get jealous. I didn't get sensitive. I was just proud of him because, we were virgins together coming into the Big 12. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thankful. The Pac-12, then the Big 12. So I'm thankful that he did the doggone thing that was unbelievable, and now he's soaring. And I'm just happy, man. I want to see everybody get together. I want to see everybody win, except when they play us. But I want to see everybody win. But I'm proud of Coach Dillingham and what his relationship with those kids and those young men. And I know some of them personally, that he is who he says he is, and I'm proud of him.
Center right, second row.
Hi, Coach Sanders.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Excellent.
Good. So, it being your third year as the Colorado Buffaloes head coach, what are your expectations for the program this coming season?
We want to win. We want to win at all costs. We want to be in that championship game, not here at the Star, but over in that other big house that Jerry's built. That's what we want to do, and that's what we're gearing up for. That's all we're playing for. We play to win. We don't just play to compete. Great question.
Center right, first row.
Roe Parrish.
My brother. My brother.
Hey, from number one, blessings to you.
Thank you.
Glad to see you up here healthy. Again, Roe Parrish, CBS, Texas. You are very meticulous when it comes to things about Colorado, whether it be players, uniforms. Will you pull back the curtain on the process of what you will be selecting when it comes time for you to say, now give me my theme music?
Smart, tough, fast, disciplined young men with character.
Wait, hold on. No. I know that part. When you say give me my theme music, as you know, I talk about music.
Right.
What's going to go to that process of selecting that track that's going to play?
I got to feel it, man. I got to get a feeling for the team. I got to get a feeling for how they move, how they work, how they, what they want, their needs, and I just got to get a feeling for it. See, I'm old school, not an old fool. I'm old school, but I got to adapt to what's now and what's current. So sometimes I may let Big Jordan, Seaton, I may let the big fella, who's a phenomenal player, who's going to be a first rounder. This is a testimony that this is how much I love my players. Big fella called me yesterday and FaceTimed me, and I was out there watching Grown and Shador, I'm sorry. He was preparing at the crib, you know, for his tremendous season that he's going to have. And the big fella called me, he said, Coach, we fly in and we get in like 6, but I need to go somewhere and get my hair braided because my hair is raggedy. I said, okay, what you thinking? He said, well, how far is downtown? Because I think we'll be in the McKinney. I said, I think you can make it at a reasonable time. Ain't nothing going to happen. But the moral of the story is, I'm happy that my players can call me about getting their hair braided.
There it is.
I don't know how many other coaches in the Big 12 that the players can call them about getting their hair braided. And I love the big fella, man. And he's going to be a phenomenal player along with the other guys that we brought.
Time for a couple more questions to go center right. Fourth row.
Coach Prime, Stephen Johnson, Fort Worth Star Telegram.
How you doing, sir? Fort Worth Star Telegram. Y'all used to be on my neck.
Hey, I just got here. But,
Amen.
You guys play TCU again this year.
Yes, sir.
I'm just curious, how significant was that game in 2023 for you?
It was everything. It was like the genesis of my coaching career in college, in major college football. It was the genesis of you seeing Travis and Shador, some other players that we featured in our program. And it was phenomenal. I mean, I'm excited about coming back to Texas to play because, you know, this is my second home now. But I absolutely love it. They have a wonderful coach as well. And I'm pleased and I'm thankful. I think I saw him. I was in Papados over across town one day, and his whole staff rolled up in there, and he showed love. So I'm thankful for that as well. But I can't wait. I can't wait to come back, as well as Houston. We go to Houston as well. So I can't wait. We have 2 games in Texas, which is phenomenal, and which allows us to recruit tremendously. So I'm happy about that.
Final question, center left.
Coach Prime, Kevin Turner, Sun Devil Radio Network. Right over here, Coach.
There you go.
Right here.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you. Curious, there's been some talk about some of your colleagues, some of the other coaches with regard to some of the changes that they would be interested in implementing, and I've always admired your ability on the field and to market and brand. What would you change if you had a voice today with our game in college football?
Well, I think I do have a voice. You're talking to me right now, right?
Yes, sir.
I got a voice. Okay. What I would change in college football, it has to be, and they're trying to implement it. It's got to be a salary cap on this stuff because this stuff is going crazy and nobody know where it's going to land, where it's going to end, and you have so many different doors. It's like I would see a player that said he got an offer from another school, and I'm trying to figure out why you guys haven't investigated it and how is that possible when the guy's not in the portal? How's that? Now, if that was one of my players, you guys would be all over it. I'm trying to figure out how can somebody say, you got a $5 million offer? How? And the kid is not in the portal. So I think we need to be upright and upstanding. Secondly, I like the professional rules to be implemented in college. They're getting ready to be pros, so let's go 2 feet in, you know, on the catches. Let's mark the foul if it pass interference. Let's do the same thing the pro game is. Let's do it to college. And let's do something about the uniforms. We got guys out there in backer shorts. That makes me sick because I'm a football guy. Like I played this game at a high level, and I have so much respect for this game. And how can we allow guys out there in backer shorts? No knee pads, no nothing, literally pants up under their thighs, and that's cool. So I think there should be a fine implemented for that stuff, and let's have more respect for this tremendous game. Now, I could go all day when you talk about making some changes, but we have a pretty good game, a darn good game, one of the best games, I think, in sports. That's why we attract so many people, especially the Colorado Buffaloes. We attract so many eyeballs. You want to see us win, you want to see us lose, but you want to see us. But I wish we could implement some of those things. It's just three off the top of my head. Thank you. That's a darn good question, my man.
Coach, thank you for your time today.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
I get to leave now?
Yes, sir.
God bless you all. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. That concludes today's coaches' press conferences. Join us here at 1:40 for the coaches' roundtable. Thank you.
Tuesday, got your girl in a cup, she Tuesday.